I'm Solbrick, but your girlfriend calls me baby. And in today's episode, we're going to build a sheriff's department. It's going to be placed right here where the police station is right now, so in between here. I'm going to base my design on set 6755, Sheriff's Lockup from 1996. But I'm going to modify it so it's going to look modern but be inspired by that old classic retro Lego look and retro Western look. But my version is currently in a bit of a disarray. I wonder if I should let the giraffe be a sheriff. A giraffe sheriff. Here's the result. Soltown's mighty fine sheriff's office. As you can see, we have the sign up here, and if we look closer, we can see some bullet holes, but also some authentic bite marks. The solar panels here are of course to power the bat signal, because that's one of the sheriff office duties, is to light this signal whenever the town need the Batwoman's help. I changed the white window frames to gray instead, put in a little detailing there. You can see that I have a ventilation unit there. This is of course reinforced and not wooden like the rest of the building, because this is the jail. So that's how they usually did it back in the wild west days. Well, at least in the movies and the video games. Let's spin this around. Now the bottom part here is open on the back side to save on bricks, but also for easy access for play, because up here is actually where the road will be, and here is the shelf part that it will be standing next to. And I've chosen to have the door going inwards just because of the road going here with all the traffic, so it's kind of hazardous to get in here and get out of there. And for this side I chose to use different kind of slope bricks for the roof. I think that turned out rather excellent. There's a hole in here, and that's because that's the garage, and you can lift this whole roof section off to gain access inside. And I actually chose to use a motorcycle instead of a little car here. It was just too crowded even for me, but I think that's a good way to get around in Soltown. Here's the sheriff herself. She is an elected official, so that's kind of democratic. Of course she's elected by the state and not the people, but still. And usually when a politician messes up or something, they get to be the sheriff instead. So she can sit here and play cards and wait for the phone to ring. Because Soltown already has a police force, and they have the military taking care of most of the crime. So the sheriff department is mostly acting as security guards at the courthouse and serving warrants and, well, literally taking out real trash around the town, because they don't have a lot of other things to do. But the sheriff don't work alone. Here is the deputy. The police department can delegate some duties to the sheriff office, and the sheriff office is also allowed to round up posses of civilians to fight off crimes. But that's a risk, because they can turn vigilante, and then you have to fight your own posse. Let's take a look at the bottom floor here that houses the jail. You have a really comfy bed there, steel. And you have a water fountain, a teepee for the bunghole, and a very important toilet. The door is nicely ventilated and it can be locked. And since the jail is rarely occupied, this chair is actually on a comfy recliner, so you can sit like this. And the police office wall will be against here. So that's saving some space there. I wanted this to be reinforced since that's the jail part. And I really like this old wanted poster for that stupid man. This was included in the original set. To fit the sheriff office in here, I had to replace the communication antennas and that kind of nonsense in here. And I put on some tiles here just to make this easier to get it in place. And it's not really going to be attached here. It's just going to be kind of by the forces from the side be kept in place. So it will be easy to remove that whenever I want to play with it or whatever. So put the roof on there as well. And I added a little bit of the stone wall there also, from the old medieval stone wall that's a part of Soltown. Now that's a mighty fine look, I would say. You can swivel this around all day long if you want to, because that's a play feature. I mean, this just looks so fun. It kind of reminds me of Cyberpunk 2077 where you have like different buildings on top of others. I just love that kind of look. And I also like the contrast with this kind of fascist, brutalistic looking police station that kind of almost disappears because it's so evil and black and dark. And you have this shack of a sheriff office. This side won't really be visible for visitors or me, but I mean, looking in the camera like this, I think this really looks like a Wild West kind of a building. So I'm super stoked and happy about that. Turned out really well. With that said, make sure to stay out of the nonsense, stay awesome, and please subscribe.